Hello and welcome to Wheel Thing TV. I'm Dave Knoll. In this week's episode we're checking out the 2016 Volvo XC90 Inscription with the 2-litre petrol engine. 2016 Volvo XC90, painted in Lumina Sand, this particular model, and as you can see it's a fairly decent sized car. Change to the profile, the rear end isn't so squared off, and at the front end looking absolutely sensational with the LED headlights and with the LED driving lights as well, which you can just see as that little strip going through there. A very bluff, upright front end on it. As I mentioned, around at the rear, just not as square as we've expected from Volvo, and I say that by saying that we have still a little bit of an edgy design to certain parts of a Volvo car, and this is certainly not it by any measure. Naturally enough, it's a power lift tailgate in here. Plenty of room in the back seats. And these are tilt and slide style seats as well. Just a matter of that lever there. And as you can see, the headrest folds in as well. Gives you a rather large and flat cargo carrying area. And these actually do slide along as well. A little bit of a luxury part. For the rear passengers, you get your own touchscreen temperature controls, which is all operated via a touchscreen in the main console, and as you can see, it's also a finger prick magnet as well. Nice big sunroof, the panoramic sunroof in the XC90, and again this is an option at $2,950. I'm kind of wondering why it is so much, but you do get a fair amount of glass for your money. Car is fitted with the optional B&W or Bowers & Wilkins audio system. It's a reasonably pricey option, but it certainly sounds good. It's somewhere in the order of $4,500. Very tidy looking design. The steering wheel is absolutely delightful to hold and grip. You've got the LCD screen for the driver. As we mentioned, the touchscreen right here in the middle. Slightly different situation for the starting point. There's all your basic information. Now this is the issue with the screen here. It is basically like an iPad or you know, whatever you want to call them. So it's a tilt and slide with your finger swipe. It doesn't always work, and here's the reason why we do get fingerprints all over this. But then you have all your sub menus built into here. For example, your sound experience for the audio, and you can actually tell it whether you want it to be for everybody in the car or just for the driver. What kind of sound you want it to actually be as well. And there's a back button in there somewhere. But also you've got your home button just down the bottom, which takes you to this main center screen. If we go to the other way, if we can get it to actually move across, then you've got your various options. Now the lane keeping aid is part of the driver assist package, which is $4,000. You get cameras, a head-up display, and I don't know if we can pick that up. You can just pick it up there. There we go. And down here, parking assistance, all that kind of stuff as well. But at the top, there's a little tab hiding, which then brings up your settings and owner's manual. Now the problem I had with this particular tab is that there was a question that said I need to have parking in or parking out, and it hid that tab and nothing could be changed, nothing at all. You've got my car here, which then comes up again with another sub menu. So displays and IntelliSafe and park assist and drive mode, so you can actually then tell it what kind of steering force, for example, in the steering wheel that you'd like. Now if we go to the driver display, a very famous Volvo situation here, you can change it from comfort as it is to dynamic, and that will change the looks of the dashboard once you're actually underway. Preset modes in here as well for the actual driving style, and then your back button or close. I think you do really have quite a fair bit of options available, but I just find that the touchscreen very sensitive in regards to the fingertips. As you can see, within a week how dirty the screen actually got. I'm personally not a fan of having touchscreens for air conditioning controls, but this is a bit nifty where you touch it and it brings up a sliding scale for what temperature you want it to be. This little jog dial here, it's press and rotate. So press that, it comes up with the actual off-road, comfort, eco or dynamics, and effectively changes the engine mapping and the transmission shift points as well. And dynamic will actually then also effectively bring it into a kind of sports mode, and sometimes you'll be tootling along and it might be in gear 5 when it's actually an 8-speed gearbox, and so you might need to manually change it or go back to one of the other modes instead. 2-litre petrol engine in here. We've got 235 kilowatts at 5,700 RPM and a pretty reasonable 400 newton meters of torque from 2200 all the way through to 5400 RPM. And it certainly really is that mid-range where you can get this car up and running quite nicely. It is a big car, it does weigh a little bit, even though it does have an aluminium bonnet, for example. And of course all the pedestrian safety features that these kind of cars come with nowadays. Really a fascinating car to drive. And then you can see there's the LED driving lights underway. At $120,000 plus on roads for this particular model, bearing in mind that it's got an absolute swag of options fitted to it, it could be questionable as to the value of it compared to some other cars. But you do get a lot of car, both in sheer size and ability, for the money. It's worth taking it for a test drive and making your own decision. For A Wheel Thing TV, I'm Dave Knoll.